Hey guys, it's Sydney. This video is a collaboration with my friend Karen. I have linked Karen's YouTube channel in the description below. She does videos from lifestyle, fashion, beauty, and vlogs, so definitely recommend her channel. Leave a comment and tell her I sent you. But as you can tell by the title, I'm going to be talking about some of my unpopular opinions. So just letting y'all know I have my opinions. You have your own. I didn't get too controversial with it because I didn't want to start a big uproar. I know how that can be. So they're just some of my opinions, and I find these videos really interesting to watch, just learning about people's interests and dislikes, or just learning about how they feel about things. So I'm going to be doing my makeup while I talk, and that's pretty much it. You know, I had to add a little spin on the video because I just got to be different. So let's get started. So, can I just say how dating in this generation is so non-existent? Nobody wants to date anymore. They just want to talk, and that's pretty much it. Especially in college, people will talk for a good 3.5 weeks, and then they'll stop talking and talk to somebody else for a good 2 weeks. Nobody wants to be committed anymore. Nobody wants to be serious. And it's kind of scary to think, because it's almost like when you're actually ready to get into a committed, serious relationship, is there going to even be anybody that's down for that? I just think people are just too worried about, oh, who can I talk to next? They're not really concerned about just building a great relationship with one person. Commitment is just a really big issue in this generation. Nobody wants to commit to one person. They just don't. And you know, I can understand that on some levels. You know, when you're young, you want to have fun, you want to experience things, you don't want to be tied down, but it gets to a point where you have to mature. I mean, you're not 15 years old anymore. You're not a teenager anymore. So another thing that really just kind of crosses my mind a lot is if racism will ever end. And in my opinion, I just think it won't, because in order for something as big as racism to end, people will have to acknowledge their own biases. You just really have to educate yourself. You know, if you're unaware of the challenges that other people go through, you need to educate yourself. And the unfortunate thing about it is that people are not willing to do that. Some people are just very one-sided. They only want to see the world from their point of view and not from what other people experience, and they do not want to admit that they're wrong. This Black Lives Matter movement has definitely, I think, taught other people about the injustices in America. It has definitely allowed people to become more educated and learn more about the lives of African Americans. But like I said earlier, it's still unfortunate that some people cannot understand how messed up America is. And until people are willing to educate themselves and possibly change their view on things, racism isn't going anywhere. So we know that this pandemic has been taking the lives of thousands of people, and it just really confuses me why people have to make a political issue out of wearing a mask when you're around a large group of people. It's not only about protecting yourself from getting it, it's also about protecting others. I do think that some people think, because like I'm 20, people around my age, a little bit older, a little bit younger, think that they are kind of like immune to it, or they cannot possibly be put in the hospital. So basically people just think it only affects the older generation, or they just think it's not that big of a deal. I'm not gonna lie, when I first heard about Corona, I did not think it was gonna get this bad, so I probably wasn't taking it as seriously as I should have. But as I watched the news and I saw how it was affecting people, it was kind of like, dang, this thing is really serious. And it's like, as things began to open up and schools and everything began to open up, we're gonna have to take extra precautions just for safety. But some people still are not going to be wanting to put on a mask to not only protect themselves but other people. And it has nothing to do with, oh, I can do what I want, don't tell me what to do. It's just about decreasing the numbers, keeping it from rising. Because I see so many posts about people saying, oh, I want things to go back to normal. I want to be able to do this again. But it's like, nobody wants to do what they're supposed to do to keep this thing from getting even bigger. The numbers are still rising, they're still going up. Corona hasn't gone anywhere, and she's not going to go anywhere if people do not take precautions. And it's almost hypocritical because when the coronavirus came and everything, people were protesting to open places up so that they could get their hair cut. But when an innocent black man is murdered by the police, it's almost like some people don't want to advocate for that, or they don't want to talk about that. And I personally think that when things like this happen, like what happened with George Floyd, it just shows people's true colors. I do realize some people are learning. This internet has allowed people to become aware of what's happening in America. But besides that, a situation like this just really shows you who people are and just shows you how people really feel about you. I could get into a whole conversation about this, but I already did that in one of my videos. If you didn't see it, it's on my channel. But if y'all are unaware, I'm a very big feminist. I think women are just as powerful as men. I know people or some men can look at women as being weak or inferior, but I know my voice is just as powerful as a man's voice is. We should not let men have power over us just because they think that they're supposed to. This goes for my women out there. Continue to get your education, get that degree, get that money, so you're not dependent on any man. And while you're at it, do not do this. I'm just kidding, but no, for real, I do think that us women need to start being just as aggressive as men and getting that money up, doing you, and let them see what they're missing. So lastly, I wanted to talk about social media because I definitely think social media has weakened interpersonal communication. People would rather hold a conversation with someone over a text through Snapchat or maybe Facebook, but they're more to shy away from face-to-face communication. Social media has the tendency to kind of twist words up. You'll hear one thing on the internet or social media and you'll think it's true, but it turns out it was far from the truth. People would rather say things, like mean things, behind the screen, but they would never say or think twice about saying that to someone's face. But other than that, I do think that social media has a good way to allow people to connect and network with other populations of people, because without outlets like YouTube, Instagram, people would not be able to create brands for themselves, whether that's advertising businesses or themselves. So yes, social media definitely has its pros and cons, but that's all for today. Those are all my opinions. But let me know if y'all like me doing videos like this. But thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to my channel and like this video, and I'll see you on my next video. Bye.